Hey ghosts and ghouls, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, as promised, I'm going to be doing a video on dogs and the paranormal. Like, can dogs see paranormal things? Can they sense paranormal things? And the reason I am doing this video is because of the movie that's come out recently, Good Boy, which if you haven't heard of it yet, basically it is a movie about a haunting in a house in the perspective of a dog, which is definitely a very interesting take. I don't really think there's movies quite like that out there, but it kind of brings up the question, and a lot of people, like, it's always been kind of like a thing, like, can animals sense paranormal things or detect them? So that's kind of what I'm doing with today's video. I did make a previous video recently on if cats can detect paranormal things, and I started with cats first just because I feel like compared to dogs they're more susceptible. Doesn't mean dogs don't still sense paranormal things, but I do have a video on cats if you want to go check that out. But yeah, like I said, today's we are going to just dive into dogs. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So kind of like when I discussed cats and the paranormal, basically with this, what I'm going to do is first just kind of briefly go over the dog's different senses. After we go over their senses, I'm gonna go over some supernatural folklore from other like cultures, and then kind of in the end, just some, like, I guess you could say modern day beliefs type of thing, and then I'll kind of wrap it up with my opinion. So to get started, let's kind of talk about a dog's senses, right? We're gonna start with hearing. So dogs can hear 4 times farther than people. So already dogs are at an advantage, they have better hearing. And I mentioned this in my last video. One thing about the paranormal is, or spiritual activity, is it takes spirits a lot of energy to be able to do things. Like, it takes them a lot of energy. So like, even like I said, we've seen like spirit boxes, like when they make sound, or if a spirit blows a candle out, like that takes a lot of energy for them to do. So a dog having stronger hearing, obviously they might be able to hear those things better than we can. So that's one thing. Next, this is a dog's biggest advantage in comparison to cats. Cats are known to have really strong vision. Dogs have a very strong sense of smell. Dogs' sense of smell is, in comparison to ours, can range between 10,000 to 100,000 times more powerful. Now with the paranormal, not saying smells aren't a thing. Like, I know sometimes, people will say, like, if like a loved one's died, maybe like they've smelled like a cologne in the air, or like a smell just out of nowhere, like that's really pungent, that reminds them of that person, or that smells of that person. So that could, especially with dogs, like their sense of smell being so much stronger than ours, if there's anything like that spiritually, that can help them detect things. And then the last one would just be like their vision. Dogs see things differently than us. I was gonna say they're a little bit limited on the color spectrum, but they do still have pretty good vision, so that can play another factor. But I would definitely say with dogs and cats, like, hearing so much better. Like I said, cats they're unmatched with the vision, but dogs have that sense of smell. So next we're going to kind of go into supernatural folklore, kind of across different cultures. The first one I'm going to start out with is ancient Greece / ancient Rome. So in ancient Greece, it was believed that dogs could like see spirits and would guide people to the afterlife. I don't want to butcher this, but in Greek mythology is the 3-headed dog Cerberus. And he was, there was believed to be a 3-headed dog named Cerberus who would guard the gates of Hades. So another kind of like a symbol of dogs with, the afterlife paranormal. And then lastly, in ancient Rome, it was like people would bury dogs in front of their doorways because it was believed that burying a dog in front of your doorway would like guard you from like evil or malevolent spirits. or specifically like protecting homes from malevolent spirits. Next is going to be a little bit of Norse mythology. So in Norse mythology, dogs were believed to be guards against the realms. So in Norse mythology, dogs are believed to be guardians of the realms, and specifically with owners, like if an owner was like, you know, going to die or something bad was gonna happen, it was believed that dogs could sense that and could try to protect their owners from that danger. Or specifically in Norse mythology, it was thought that dogs could sense like death approaching, so then they would do whatever they could to protect their owners from that unseen force. So we are going to go into Celtic and British folklore. So it is believed that there was a specific word for it. I couldn't even try to pronounce it, but it basically translates to hounds of the underworld. They were ghostly dogs whose howls were omens of death if you heard them. It's also believed that seeing like a black dog near a graveyard or crossroads was seen as a sign of paranormal activity. And then the last one we're going to discuss is Latin America. Now I do have to look at my sheet of paper to pronounce this word. I am going to butcher it. I'm so sorry in advance. But in Mexican culture, the Zoloitzcuintli, again, I know I just butchered that and I am so sorry, but it translates to hairless dog breed. It was sacred to the Aztecs, and it was believed that these dogs guided souls through the underworld, helping them cross rivers safely on the journey to the afterlife. So, you know, again, another belief of dogs and like crossing over. And I think kind of, if we kind of look at the cat video that I did, a lot of that was kind of like, people kind of saw cats more as like protectors, and kind of like I think with both, you know, like the detection of paranormal activities there, but I think cats were seen more as like protectors, where it clearly in some of these across different cultures, we're seeing more like dogs are like guides into the afterlife, which is really interesting. Okay, so these next ones are kind of a mixture of like modern day beliefs, but these are kind of shared beliefs across the board with both dogs and cats, so this can kind of be applied to both. So both are seen as protectors of thresholds, specifically planes where the physical and spiritual world meet. So for example, like doorways, graveyards, bedrooms when sleeping at night, which is really, really interesting. Now that I think about it, especially for me, like I have dogs and cats. If you guys don't know, I have a ton of animals, but I have three cats, 2 dogs, and pretty much all of them like always are sleeping in my room at night. Now granted, they just might like me, but that's something kind of interesting to think about, especially when you think of like the spiritual realm. Many traditions believe that animals can absorb or deflect negative energy, which would explain why some pets are like restless or protective in certain spaces. Also too, especially I feel like this goes a little bit more to dogs than cats, but sometimes like I feel like certain dogs, like they can like especially like just with people, they can detect like if somebody's intentions are good or not. I'm not saying cats can't do that too, I'm sure they can, but like I have, now it's just my family dogs. We had 2, Smokey and Bandit. Now it's just Smokey, unfortunately. But I remember there's been a couple times where he's never like bit, but like he's growled at certain people, and like the way he was acting, it was like something seemed off, and then it turns out like those people were like not good people. So just, you know, something kind of interesting to think about. But yeah, it's believed that they can kind of like protect against that negative evil energy. Kind of the last one, which I kind of think I mentioned in my first video just a little bit, but even nowadays, like paranormal investigators will note how animals are reacting to paranormal things, whether they're like barking, hissing, like trying to hide, pacing, like those kinds of things. But they do note these as like potential spiritual responses during these investigations. Like, so that is part of it, is how are animals acting. So kind of with all that information, you know, kind of looking at like animal senses and things and what's previously believed and currently. My personal opinion, and again, this is my personal opinion, you don't have to agree. I truly do think animals, both dogs and cats, can detect the paranormal. I still somewhat stand by what I said before. I feel like cats can sense it just a little bit better, especially like the vision, the hearing. It's a bit stronger than, like, dogs still have great hearing, they have great smell, but cats with the vision and hearing, it's just way stronger. So I feel like they can kind of detect those things a little bit better. But I still think dogs can absolutely detect it too. Again, especially because like their senses are way stronger than ours. So like things that just because we can't detect it doesn't mean that they can't detect it. And again, I said it in the beginning, I'll say it again. Just it takes spirits a lot of energy to try to do things. So with them trying to like, like again, to make a sound, to like make a candle blow out, to make a door swing open or shut, like it takes them a lot of energy. So especially with sound, like just because like if their hearing is better than ours, they can it's gonna take a spirit less energy to be heard by a dog or a cat in comparison to a person, right? And then again, especially with cats, like with their sight, like they can see shadows at night. Like we can't really do that. We need light of some kind. So, it wouldn't be as hard for a spirit to be visible to them. And again, like with smells, like if spirits can produce smells, a dog is going to smell something way faster than us because their smell is way stronger. So in summary, I definitely do believe that animals can detect paranormal things. Now, that doesn't always mean if your dog's barking frantically or your cat's hissing or hiding, there's something paranormal, but just something to keep in mind. All right, guys, that is it for today's video. I hope you all have enjoyed it. If you have, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe. I am trying to post as many videos as possible this month, so definitely subscribe so you can stay tuned. Comment down below if you want to see more videos kind of like this. Maybe, I know I talk a lot about the Ouija board, but maybe more like paranormal things kind of outside of that, if we like these types of conversations. Also comment down below, like, have your animal, like, for those of you that have animals, like, have you ever felt like they've reacted to something paranormal potentially, or, have you ever felt like that? Also too, again, if, without spoiling, if you've seen the movie Good Boy, feel free to comment down below if it was worth watching, like, if you'd recommend it. Again, I really do want to see it, just, I don't like to go see things right when they come out in theaters because I don't like crowds. But yeah, and then check out my social medias. My TikTok is Queen of Horror 666, and then I have my Instagram page, which is Horror Lover 13. I also have a Facebook. It is Queen of Horror. But I think that is pretty much it. So till next time, bye guys, and just remember, always say goodbye. Bye.